I've been working for 18 hours to scape this aquarium. I don't want to spoil it for you, so I'm not gonna show it to you. You know what, I will, just for a second. But stay until the end of the video to see how I did it. Welcome to the beautiful world of aquascaping. Okay, so inspiration image. This comes actually from an Indonesian contest from Josh Sim. He posted it. He was one of the judges in the contest, as you can see on this image. The talent on this picture is immeasurable. I don't pretend that I can do anything like our fellow Indonesian aquascapers here, but I will try the green aqua way. I will try the Bolage's improvising way. We don't have the Rama twisted wood, which is featured on this image. I know that these contents, they are filling it up with water, and I don't know what's happening with the aquariums afterwards because they build it usually in one place. You guys can comment and let me know what's happening with these tanks, because everybody would want to know. I will link Josh Sim's YouTube channel. I'm sure that you're gonna get a lot of good content from him. Let's go back to the dojo and start selecting Hardscape. So this is good for one. This could be a nice main wood. Yeah, let's keep this. Good idea, I don't know. I thought the redwood wood would be fine, but the coral sinker wood is much better for my purposes, and this is the main wood. It would probably go to the left of the aquarium, but it has a lot of details, so I've got to take these details out and keep them on the side so that I can use them later. I want to keep the main structure of the wood without the details here. This whole thing needs to probably go. One out. I could put it right here, or I could put it right here. Christoph is here to help. The cavalry is here. Maybe this is better, actually. I think this is the first time that I'm building from the right side of the aquarium. As the scaping progresses, you will be involved more and more, and you begin to understand what my purpose is, what my vision is. You can glue this in multiple places. In the foreground, we are going to use the Riverest Compound Brown Fast Fusion. This is actually filling in the holes in a more efficient way than the paper towel, so I think I found my new favorite. This looks much like the wood itself. No, we need a straight one there. It's too... looks very weird, but... Okay, let's use that. I tried to put in some smaller wood pieces on the other side to see what's happening. I don't like what's happening. Fact is that this whole thing will probably look like very thick wood, very thin wood, destroys the perspective. So I've got another idea. What if we would move this whole thing to the left? I think this is the first time that I'm building from the right side of the aquarium. All the way to the end. Okay. So the golden ratio point is there. If we would move the whole thing up to that point, that will look good. I could do this. Try this. No, it's just not working. This actually could work if we would cut the bottom of it. This is a very important tree. Okay, so we should put this onto a flat rock. We need to make more of these. Hello, glue. So we are using the gray one in between the rocks. It's going to work perfectly. It looks just like the rock. Okay, and then I'm moving to the other side. So we kind of need to somehow do like straight lines in there. I love this, but where should I use this? Perfect, look at this guy. And it's also in the front, very cool. So let me recapitulate what I did in the last 3 hours. Main wood went in, I put it on the right side. I thought that's not a good idea. Let's move this whole structure composed of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces to the left side of the aquarium. Hence, moving the point of interest to that place. Then I stuck the tape in there, in the golden ratio point. Then I took the tape away as I started to progress, making a graduation from the foreground, bigger chunks of wood, to the background, smaller pieces of wood. And then we have this V shape, if you look from the top. I made this valley, which is leading the eye towards this point, and it's gradually, as we move backwards, the branches will start to be smaller, hence the idea of depth. I found that it's a good idea to have this wood, which looks like a root actually, and I glued this very twisted wood on top. What we have to do now, it's going to be a very long story, so another 4 hours perhaps. We will start to glue all kinds of branches that serve as roots. And then we need to put in rocks. We have a lot of detail and smaller branches on the right side, so we have a nice graduation, and the left side is pretty bulky. There's no perspective. So if I could build a forest here, that would probably look good. Oh, this moved, no! This reminds me, if you are a channel member, you're able to see all the videos uploaded on Monday, so you don't have to wait until Thursday to watch and comment under the videos. Plus, you will have the chance to win very, very high quality products like an Eheim Professional 5A filter or an Eheim Aquarium set, so stay tuned for that and become a channel member. Thanks for the support. So that detail looks great. We have to move on to the left side. Perhaps we go on, this doesn't have the texture. We need this much better. We have to fill up all those gaps with rocks because I cannot see any background from here. So we will have to start putting in smaller rocks. The final look that I want to achieve is very simple. It's a natural thing that I see in the nature a lot. When a tree grows on the top of a rock, actually the roots and the tree trunk itself is trying to go with the rock because obviously it cannot grow into the rock. So what's happening is it grows around it or right next to it. So that is the look that I want to achieve. We are fixing all the rocks together so that they don't move, and I'm like preparing the space for the fine filter mesh, which will come from the back, and it will close all the gaps so that the soil doesn't roll forward. You mostly see us using the ADA substrate system in our videos. We like it because it's a clever two-layer concept. Base layer substrate, the ADA power sand, is good for the beneficial bacteria because of the porous structure. And also the porous structure will help with the biological filtration, so it will help the external filter get rid of the ammonia in your water. And on the top, the ADA Aqua Soil Amazonia, a clay-based soil, is covering the base layer fertilizing substrate. It's providing also nutrients for the plants. Plants will feel good in it, and it will also help with the filtration. Together, the base layer fertilizing substrate and the clay-based soil constitute a system that will provide a stable biological environment for your aquarium. Here comes the ADA La Plata sand, which is a natural colored sand. It doesn't really need rinsing. I know it's very uniform right now, but we will add a lot of detail and it will look really good. It really needs to be OCD flat in order for me to assess this whole thing. I kind of like what we did in the midground, and I like what we did in the background in the point of interest. And other than that, we need a lot of detail. So what I need is like very twisty roots, Preferably, when I place one in, we should start to glue it, otherwise it's going to move. I'm trying to make it as natural as possible, but the joint needs to be hidden, because if you see the joint, then you have an issue. And you can probably cover some of them with plants, which is going to be fine. I wonder how the Indonesian friends are doing this. I'm not 100% happy with it, so I think I might be forced to remove some and to redo, so it's quite difficult. ADA layout material Kumu. This is a kind of a serious stone, not quite, but I kind of like it because it adds a lot of bigger detail to the aquarium, and this is the exact size that I want. Details are never enough, and I will add them in between the roots. And then I'm contemplating about the flat river gravel. So that will add a lot more detail to the La Plata sand. Oh, I didn't expect this to work this well. I think this really good addition to the layout. And with that, the hardscape is kind of ready. I'm sure I'm going to tweak it in the next days, but here we come with the planting. 1 week has passed by since the last shots, so I'm just continuing the layout, and I'm thinking about it. I'm discussing with the team members. I don't listen to Tommy, I listen to everybody else. Most of them liked the layout, actually. That was a rock. I have a lot of Cryptocorini, Parva, and Albida Brown. Those would probably go to the foreground somewhere here, and it's very difficult to plant in the thin sand in the foreground. So I will try to put it at the barrier of the soil and the sand somehow. All these plants are coming from Tropica, so thank you, our Danish friends, that you are sending us these really great plants. These come in a very good shape to Green Aqua and to our customers throughout Europe. I'm going to use probably 100 pots of tropical plants in this aquarium, which is borderline too much. You could probably get by with like 50 pots of plants, but the more you plant, the more stable the biology will be in the aquarium. Next one is the Albida Brown, which is a little bit more brownish. It will have a different color, but it will also stay small. Next is Anubias Mini Coin. Just put them in between the cracks of the wood. I don't even need to glue them. I'm trying to like face the plant towards us, and it adds a lot of finesse and beauty and you know, like subtle beauty to the layout. I'm trying to use as many of these plants in the back as possible to increase the scale. So if you want perspective, you need to have bigger plants in the foreground, bigger hardscape elements like thicker trees, and thinner branches in the background, and finer, smaller leafed plants like the mini coin in the background. I've got 2 more bigger Anubias, the Anubias Nana Petit, and these guys will go to the foreground. Big plants, epiphyte plants, can be used in the background like big ferns if you're planning to have like a natural looking, lush, foresty, nature aquarium type aquarium, and then you can have the smaller plants in the foreground. But if you want to add perspective, you have to think the other way around. Next one is the Bucephalandra, and this is like a reddish one, so I will probably add it in the middle to add a little bit of color to the middle. The Bucephalandra is a kind of thing that can be actually planted. It can survive. Don't do that with Anubias types, but you can do it with Bucephalandras. They're not going to rot. The next one is the Bucephalandra mini needle leaf, which is a smaller leafed greenish Bucephalandra. This one has a smaller leaf structure and it's very compact. I am very careful not to plant anything in this crevice, and I want to leave it empty because that is going to be like a focus point of a darker focus point of the aquarium. So I'm trying to cover all the gluing spots so that it's not visible. Blixa japonica. It will develop a nice big bush. So I have to be very careful with this one because this could be like this big. So it's going to fill up quite nicely. So I would need to use it in the mid-ground somewhere, but not in the central spot because that is, you know, a very big plant. Here comes the Liliopsis brasiliensis, which is a nice mid-ground plant. Some people use it in the foreground. I believe that you should just plant it in a place where it can actually grow a maximum of 10 centimeters and stay like that. This is Christmas moss. I will use it in patches here and there. See how nice it is? Duh! I will use only one pot of gold, Anubias gold, and I will try to separate it in two. I will use the gold in the foreground in here. That is going to be a highlight for sure. And then I will use a smaller patch somewhere in the foreground as well. Now we have an accent. And then I have the small microzorum, which I will use in a certain spot that I didn't like from the beginning. Two of them will live in here, and that will add a little bit of green over here. Let's try the Ricardia moss, which came out of an aquarium, so it's nice and green. I'm hiding too much wood? No, I will not hide too much wood. I love Ricardia and mini coins so much that maybe I will do a 2-plant aquarium layout one day in a 60p. What do you say, Aaron? A 60p aquarium with just Ricardia and mini coin.
You can do whatever you want.
Minimalist. Let's do a minimalist scape. Let us know in the comments whether you would like such an aquarium. That was needed there. I have some more Ricardia which I could actually use in the foreground. I've got the very interesting leaf-shaped Sordidula blue Bucephalandra, and I will use it in one spot in the left side of the aquarium in the front of that big rock. So that is going to be a detail. Let's see how many people will find it. I know I'm not supposed to plant into sand, but it's okay. Crypts will live nicely. I know what to do. I have an idea. I was thinking how to use the Monte Carlo, because that is like a brightish greenish plant and it would not look good in this spot anywhere. But if I would use it in this spot, in the point of interest, I could create two bright patches on both sides of this valley in the back, which would be really interesting. See how nice it is in the middle? So what I did is I used this as an epiphyte plant. I just put it between the glass and the wood. I hope it will survive. The guys are killing me because they want small fish in the aquarium. I know, smaller fish will increase the perspective, the scale of the aquarium. The smaller fish you have, the bigger the layout will look. I know, but the problem is that I need to find some small fish that are swimming together nicely. Don't worry, I will find some small fish, but I need to see the aquarium ready. Urophthalmoides is a good idea, Aaron.
I only have good.
Maybe. We will see, okay? I've got the 3 different types of stem plants, and I think I will start with the Matogrossensa, which is the smallest right now, but these are all gonna be the same size. I will start using the Matto as a dividing between the Monte Carlo and the other stems. The Fluviatilis is coming next, going right here. I'm trying to divide them in smaller bunches so that I don't block the water flow too much in between the stems. Actually, I don't know if you noticed, I'm mostly using green plants in this layout. I have some brownish, reddish plants, but those are a complete minority in the aquarium. The reason, the thinking behind this is that if you want to create a forest layout and if you go into the nature and you explore the forests, inside the forest you very rarely see red plants. Why? Because the red color is usually like a defense mechanism in a plant that is defending itself against the light. And in forest, obviously, you don't have a very strong light. Okay, final assessment as we finish planting the stems in the left side background. I think the scale of the aquarium is okay. Aaron might have been right that I covered a little bit too much with plants, and as they start to grow and spread, they will cover even more of the hardscape. Kind of like the fact that I don't see too much behind this central wood piece, which is in the foreground, in the valley, in the middle of the valley actually. So the path is disappearing behind that wood, so you actually want to go closer to kind of peek behind it. And that will create a very interesting mid-ground. We will use the Green Aqua Balance fertilizing, which adds a little bit of nitrates and phosphate. It's a good balanced fertilizing, which is needed by the epiphyte plants. So GH+, remineralizing, fertilizing, water changes, algae eaters, go. So let me see what happened in a month with this aquarium. First of all, I got a ton of positive feedback. This turned out to be better than I expected. Obviously, so all the work has paid off massively. There are a lot of details to look at. The perspective of the aquarium is fine. The plant selection goes well with the hardscape. So I kind of, you know, the way that these branches are vertical and not the V shape and X shape and whatever are also something new at the Green Aqua Gallery. I know that many of you guys have done similar scapes on a much higher level than I did. I've seen the photos. We have a really talented group of aquascapers all over the world watching our channel. But this is what I did and what we did with a lot of help from the team members. I think the plant health is so-so at the moment. I can see some diatoms here and there, especially around the mosses, but the plant health itself, it's gonna be fine. We didn't have any significant algae blooms in the past weeks. We obviously change the water regularly, as you should at the beginning of the life cycle of all tanks. Aaron has suggested to use the Boraras rubthalmoides during the shooting of the video. I first thought it's a good idea, but then I moved to this Pashkai because the eyes are like lantern-eyed fish. I really love the blue color of the eyes are popping in this aquarium. And then we have Corridoras. Obviously algae eaters, a lot of Otocinclus, the Cliton corona snails to eat the black brush algae, and we have a pair of really nice dwarf cichlids. And in contrary to their like larger counterparts, like family members, these guys are not eating plants. So, but you cannot keep many of them in an aquarium because they will start chasing each other. So for this aquarium size, one pair is more than enough, and it's really cool when they have fry, they're gonna protect them, and the male is around guarding the area and chasing away any fish that swim there. So it's quite cool to observe their behavior. They behave in significantly other manner than all other fish in this aquarium or in any aquarium. It's like pufferfish. Those guys are doing also a very interesting way of moving and behaving. So I really like exotic things like that. The coral sinker wood had started to develop some mold on it. It's gonna go away. This development came a little bit later than we expected. Usually it happens with the red moorwood. It happens in the first couple of days, maybe a week. This came after like 3-4 weeks. So it's something that is new to us, but it doesn't matter. It's just an aesthetic issue. And this aquarium is going to develop in the next weeks and months. It's going to look much, much better than it does now. And this thing is going to be a small jewel and a great addition to this gallery. Let me know what you think about this aquarium. And if you wish to support our channel, you know we have a membership and you can watch the videos on Mondays before they're released, a couple of days if you're a channel member. And thanks for the support, guys. You are wonderful. Cheers.